Hello, we are the Planetary Science Pavilion, where science meets negotiators, and we try to bring a whole new vision of how negotiations can include planetary sciences as it progresses at COP30 in the heart of the Amazon in Belém. And today I have Nico Wunderling. He is a scientist, and he has a very important message for COP30, which is the COP of Truth. So, Nico, first, welcome. Thank you for talking to us. Can you tell us what is the overshooting of 1.5 that I've heard you talk about in different panels and seen the reports?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And just to keep it very brief, overshooting 1.5 really means entering a high risk zone, not only for extreme events, for droughts, floods, and storms, but also for the global tipping elements such as the Amazon rainforest, where we're here right now, but also for the ice sheets or global ocean currents such as the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, the AMOC.
So for a lot of folks out there, they look at 1.5 and they say, it's such a little number, right? It's a little temperature number. Why is 1.5 so important?
Yeah, 1.5 might seem like a small number, but actually it is a number that we haven't had for 120,000 years back in time. So in the last interglacial, that had similar time. So we're winding back the climate clock by more than 100,000 years if we reach, and we do reach, 1.5 degrees. And it's also a large number because that is the number where tipping risks are starting to increase. And if we would even cross 2 degrees, then we would be in a very high risk zone for these tipping elements, meaning that the Amazon rainforest would be under threat, the AMOC would be under threat, and the large ice sheets on parts of the Antarctic ice sheet and Greenland.
Okay, so tipping points. You're talking a lot about them. They seem like a really big deal. For people that are not scientists, haven't heard this topic before, how can you explain what a tipping point is?
Yeah, you can imagine a tipping point being a system in the Earth that functions as follows. So imagine you have a glass of water on the table and you push the water a little bit further to the edge of the table. Nothing happens. And as you push further, you increase global warming, you push it further to the edge of the table, and at some point, at some level of global warming, you push it across the edge, it will fall from itself down to the floor and crash. And that's a tipping point then. And examples for these tipping points are 1 to 3 degrees for the Greenland ice sheet, cross these levels of global warming, lose the Greenland ice sheet, 7 meters of sea level rise. Similar for the Amazon rainforest, 1.5, 2, 3, 4 degrees, cross these levels of global warming, lose the Amazon rainforest.
And so, yes, tell me what would it mean for this glass to be pushed off the table for the Amazon? What would happen to the forest? And if you can tell us, is it just a temperature thing or are there other factors that contribute to that?
Yeah, for the Amazon rainforest, and you hit the nail here, there are actually 2 different factors that are important. One is indeed the global warming, but the other one is the deforestation. And the newest science shows that levels of deforestation beyond 20% are very risky, together with global warming values beyond 1.5 degrees. And just to give you a feeling, we're now at levels of global warming 1.4. Deforestation levels are at 18%, so we're narrowly close to a high risk zone for the Amazon rainforest. And a tipped Amazon rainforest would mean it cannot sustain itself anymore. So there is this water cycle that conditions the Amazon rainforest itself, and that is then interrupted and means that large parts of the rainforest are then at risk.
All right, that is, so you have deforestation pushing with one hand, you have climate change pushing with another hand, and we're very close to the edge of the table with the Amazon. And then, let's say the Amazon reaches this tipping point. What does that mean to the rest of the world? Does it have an impact on other things?
So, yeah, we are close to the lower bounds of this tipping point. There's a little bit of uncertainty. It could also survive 2 degrees, but we're now entering this risk zone. And if we lose significant parts of the Amazon rainforest, that would mean that we get more global warming, we lose the entire carbon sink of the Amazon. We also lose productivity, agriculture in the Amazon itself, because also already now there are significant parts in the southern part of the Amazon rainforest that are already used by agriculture. They get less water, less production, and that would then also trickle down to very remote regions of the world. For instance, also to Germany and the European Union. just think of the Mercosur treaty that is currently being negotiated. So that would also have impacts there, higher food prices, and so on.
So one tipping point, if we reach that point, then it starts to a domino effect.
Well, it could be a domino effect in terms then within other sectors, such as the economy, such as agricultural business. But if we're talking only about climate domino effects, then it would be the exact opposite. We would start losing the Greenland ice sheet, get more meltdown, slow down the Atlantic Ocean, changing off atmospheric patterns, and putting the Amazon rainforest even under more threat. So it is essentially ice sheets initiate a cascading transition, ocean currents mediate, transmit them, and the last ones who suffer most is then the biosphere elements, such as the Amazon rainforest.
Okay, and we've heard the Secretary General, but many scientists talk about overshooting 1.5. But I've also heard scientists saying we can come back. How do you explain that? How can that happen?
Maybe imagine an overshoot as follows. You put an ice cube out of the fridge, put it on the table, and if you're quick enough, you can put it back. So your ice cube is safe, it's fine. You just overshot your melting temperature for a short while. But if you wait too long, your ice cube melts down, water's on the table, and then good luck to bring that back into a cube form. And this is an overshoot of a tipping point. And getting back then, ash essentially means not only going back to 1.5 degrees by the end of this century, it also is a longer-term commitment, going back to around 1 degree of global warming than in the longer run. Because some of the tipping elements, they start to be at danger at 1 degree, such as the coral reefs, such as the Greenland ice sheet, or such as parts of the Antarctic ice sheet.
And what needs to happen? What will bring the ice cube back to the refrigerator?
So this is essentially two things. One is we really need net zero emissions. We need to mitigate until we reach that, ideally by mid-century. And the second thing is that we need to achieve our negative emissions. So on top of reaching net zero for the second half of the century, we need substantial amounts of net negative emissions to get us back down to 1.5 degrees upfront or until the end of the century.
What are the things that we need to do to get that ice cube back on the fridge?
So we need to do several things. So first of all, to give the system a chance at all, we need to stop deforestation in the Amazon rainforest. We need to stop overfishing in the coral reefs. We need to stop human-made fires in the boreal forests. That's one. The second thing is we also, as we discussed, we need to go down to net zero emissions. We need to phase out all fossil fuels. We need to go down, get to renewable energies as one of the key positive tipping points. And we need sustainable food systems, and lastly, sustainable transportation systems.
Perfect. And so we're here at the Planetary Science Pavilion, where I think we're experiencing global warming like it's like a lab, where the temperatures are super hot, as you can see by the sweat in our faces. I think it's a signal that we are leaving this reality, and we need to do everything we can to bring the temperatures down, to phase out fossil fuels, to end deforestation, and it has a lot of other benefits that come with it. And the science is clear. It's been saying this for years and years and just getting better and better. And we hope that negotiators here and countries can get together and deliver a really strong result, listening to the scientists, listening to civil society, and all the advocates out there that are working for this goal. Thank you very much, Nico. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you very much.